Alright, this is probably a bad idea because I hate the sound of my voice on a recording. But I felt like coming in town today and going up the main drag here and talking about all the stuff that used to be here when I was a kid, or years ago. At the corner of 6th and Memorial now, there used to be a Baskin Robbins here. You could go in and they didn't care. You could try as many samples as you wanted. But back then, kids weren't jerks about it. They didn't stand around demanding, oh, give me this, give me that. All right, and here, McBride's used to have a water fountain here. I'm not exactly sure, or I'm not sure exactly where it was. But yeah, water fountain was here because they're like they deal with water softeners and stuff. And people would come and either put dish soap in the fountain or food coloring. And I think over years of that, McBride got tired of having to clean their stuff. And so they got rid of it. Across the street, what is that? The Tree Church. That was, up until a few years ago, it was Roses. And before that, it was Value City. And I remember me and my cousin bought inflatable boats there and went to Buckeye Lake and nearly sank and drowned. Good times. This strip mall, I don't really remember what was here and what wasn't, but I do remember that here where Charlie's is used to be Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips. And it was sad to lose that. We lost our Arthur Treacher's, and did we lose our Long John Silver's? I think it's gone too. But yeah. Fish, chicken, chips, hush puppies. And then back across the street, I feel like there used to be a Wendy's where Tim Hortons is now, but I don't know if that makes sense. But that's what my memory tells me. And then here, this used to be a car wash, and I gotta believe this land is worth way more money as something else than it is being a car wash. So that's probably why that went away. Let me see here. I'm gonna go across the street back here though. I don't like driving along Memorial Drive really. People haven't been too horrible as I do these rides around town, but I have been kind of targeted a couple times, which makes sense. Like, I'm an old, kind of overweight dude with glasses riding on a tiny bike where I don't have to even pedal. So people don't know that I'm not just being lazy. I mean, partially lazy, but... And then on top of that, there's a big ass camera sticking out the back of it. So it's going to draw attention from people who, yeah, you know the type. Ow, this hurts. There's no shocks on this thing. Whew. Yeah, out early enough that there's not a ton of traffic out, so that helps. We'll head back down to Memorial. Holy crap. Some of these sidewalks are rough. Now, I don't even know if this is going to work. I'm recording audio on my phone, and I'm recording the video, and I'm going to combine them later. But I don't know if the camera will even record as long as this trip is going to be. Because sometimes it just craps out after like 10 minutes. So I've kept my rides shorter than that typically. We'll see. Man. Now, across the street here, I can't really remember what's been in and out of that little strip mall. I feel like it's always been there, but I can't tell you what stores have been there. And then this I'm 99% sure was our first Little Caesars. Yeah, this is going to be a video where if anybody actually watches it, they're probably going to be correcting me a lot. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was our first Little Caesars. And then across the street where Walgreens is, that was where our Jolly Pirate Donuts was. And then somewhere right along here was Zantigo, Mexican restaurant. And that was when I was really little. Man, this is every bit of like 35 years ago that I'm thinking. But yeah, Zantigo's in my head, probably because of nostalgia. Zantigo was way better than Taco Bell. Fatter burritos, better tacos, all of it. And back again across the street where Roosters is now, I feel like there was some kind of Asian restaurant. I can't remember if it was Chinese, Japanese, what it was. But in my head, it was like the Kahiki in Columbus, and I don't think Lancaster had its own Kahiki. But wasn't there an Asian restaurant that was like a big A-frame building that sat over there? I feel like it burned down, but again, I might be confusing it with one in Columbus. Rallies feels like it's always been here, even though it had to have been something else before. It couldn't have been around when I was a little kid. Let's see. And not get myself killed here. And this, I hope this guy does good. Like, I never see anybody. Smoothie, crepes, bubble tea, coffee. I'm glad people are still trying to open businesses. Sometimes, I don't know. Domino's. I don't remember what was here at Domino's, but what I thought was funny is that Domino's had a nationwide remodeling where they forced, well, I think they forced all of their franchisees to remodel the indoors so they could have sit-down restaurants. And some Domino's just aren't meant to be sit-down restaurants, I think. And then this building on my right here, Wild Ginger, Japanese Thai cuisine. I feel like it's always been some type of Asian restaurant. Let's see, I think I'll go over there to Slater's. Yeah, that's a relatively new building. Over here, Joann's is leaving. I don't know if they went out of business like nationwide or what, but looks like we're getting an Ace Hardware, which is good because I don't think we have any just little hardware stores. And then here at the end, this was our Blockbuster Video. Came here a lot. Actually, I came to their dumpster a lot too because not only would they throw out cases, which I would use for my own burned CDs and DVDs and stuff, but sometimes they would actually throw out games. Yeah, that sucks. I hate crossing this road. Plaza Shopping Center sign. I don't think that's changed since I was a kid. Even the neon. It's funny. I probably drive by here at night at least once or twice a week, and I can't tell you if the neon even still works. There we go. Alright, let's go over by Slater's. And Slater's is another place that feels like it's been around forever. I remember going in with my grandpa when he would need stuff, tools and crap for the house and the garden. But they closed, I feel like it was at the beginning of this year. I know they had an auction, but it looks like they didn't clear out everything. Wow, cleared all out now. But Slater's actually, they're going to keep up their all their weightlifting stuff that they do, or that they're involved with. And I went past a place on Fair Avenue out towards the west side of town, and I think it's Slater's weightlifting out there. Oh. That's sad though. Nathan has purchased a lock shop. He's moved it behind Myers. It's funny. Slater's is kind of like Lancaster Sales was, like, to me. When it's gone, it's like, oh, that's sad. That was nostalgia. I liked going there. But then I think, no, I didn't really go there, and I probably should have, and maybe they'd still be around. Because Lancaster Sales is now Peddler's Junction, and Slater's is going to be something else. I don't really remember what was in those strip malls, or the strip mall we just passed. This barbershop has always been here. But the thing I'm definitely blanking on is I can't remember what was here before this thrift store. Was it wide open parking lot? Because when the thrift store building first opened, it was a furniture store. I do remember that. And for some reason, now the thrift store has the front steps blocked off. So you always have to go up the ramp. But yeah, I can't remember when I was a kid if those, like, it feels like it probably would have just ended here, and then they built out the parking lot and then built the building. Man, and I almost drove past Planet Fitness without remembering this, but one of my first jobs was at, let me see, what was it called first? Festival? Carnival? Festival. Yeah, Festival Foods, and then it turned into Carnival Foods, but yeah, I actually helped open the Festival Foods that was right here, and I think it was as wide as, like, over to where Michael's is. I can't remember. It was a big store. I can't remember if it had this whole thing. I think one of my boss's names was Chris Brown, and I was a kid, so I was a bagger, and they actually offered me to kind of apprentice in the meat department, and I didn't, because I was young and dumb and didn't want to do more work and wasn't thinking about my future, where it would have been nice to, like, have a leg up in the butcher shop in the meat department. Waterbeds and stuff has been here a minute. Good for them. And it feels like there's always been a gym here. Wait a minute, I remembered something else. Hold on, I'm going back. Okay, over there where Planet Fitness, Michael's, and the furniture thing is, that also used to be not only Odd Lots, but it was Sears. I'm 99% sure Sears was there, and then when I was probably in the mid-'80s, it turned into an Odd Lots for a while, because I remember getting Atari cartridges there. Yeah, so Odd Lots was there, and then Odd Lots moved over here where Ollie's is. I can't remember what it was before that Odd Lots. And it's funny because there's places like B-Dubs I think of as a new restaurant for some reason, even though it's been around for a long time. But I think just at some point when I was a kid, they built this and it was like, holy crap, look at that. In the plaza? They built that restaurant in the plaza? Okay, what else? Okay, over there, I missed it next to where the Blockbuster, where I was talking about Blockbuster being. I think that, was it Fiesta Tropicana? I'm pretty sure that was a Sisters Chicken and Biscuits. Sisters Chicken and Biscuits. And then over here where the Park National Bank is, I believe it was called Roots Restaurant. Kind of a diner for old folks. Not old folks, but people that wanted quieter breakfasts and lunches, put it that way. Let's see if I can get through here without getting killed. And then this McDonald's, somebody might be able to tell me about this too, but I'm almost sure it's kind of set back away from the road. I'm like 99% sure it's moved twice. I think it was back there, like pretty far back from the road when I was real little. And then they rebuilt it out here at the road and then did it again and moved it back. It might have only been twice, but whatever happened, that McDonald's is not the original McDonald's. And they absolutely moved it. And it felt weird for them to do that. Comfort Dental. It was Cracker Barrel? Was this a Cracker Barrel? This looks too small to be a Cracker Barrel. Or was it a Denny's? Or was it both? I am blanking again. What's this guy doing? It looked like he was trying to block me. Maybe not. Maybe. All right, Kroger's is relatively new here, and this is where Kmart actually was. So we had our Kmart, and my mom actually worked here, so I got to come in and help her set up for like blue light specials and stuff. But yeah, Kmart was here, and in front of the door, some of you might remember there was a little tiny merry-go-round. I think it had little 3 horses on it, really small, and a little roof. And if you're anything older than a toddler, you'd be cramming yourself into that little thing. But yeah, Kmart. Excuse me. And there wasn't any gas station out there. Let's see, I can't really remember the little stores. And Kanji's has been around for a long time. But then once you got down here, this was actually where our Kroger's was. Let me go over here. Yeah, Kroger's was here. Kroger's Avon. And you could go, oh, it's gone. I came here because there used to be doors right here that you would go in, and the arcade. Kroger's actually had an arcade. They had Road Blasters, they had Turbo, Gauntlet, Super Mario Brothers are the ones that I remember. But yeah, what's going on back there? Yeah, so Kroger's actually took up all of this here. All right, I'm gonna go across the street again. Hopefully I don't run out of battery juice. Because there's a little bit across the street. When I'm riding, I really do try to not be a pain in the ass to people. Like, always give way. Like when I'm riding on the streets, I try and stay, wow, that's loud. But when I'm on the streets, I try to stay as close to the curb as I can. No, this is gonna suck. But yeah, I know bikes are not appreciated on the road, so I do my best to not be a pain in anyone's butt. Here we go. All right, over here, this is another one that has been here long enough that I should remember what used to be here, but no, this all feels new to me as an old person. Same with this Ohio Health. I know there had to be something else that was there, but yeah, I just can't think about it. I can't think of what it was. And then that apartment complex is kind of wild because that used to be, God, I don't even know what was back there. It just felt like a little bit of a field and rocks, and like people dumped stuff back there and they turned it into a really nice apartment complex. And KFC has been KFC for a long time. And then Burger King has always been here too, but they used to have a giant play place, or whatever Burger King calls their play place, out front. Yeah, so where all those parking spots are, yeah, that used to be, there's probably actually a video of me and my friends when we were far too old to be climbing around in the kids' play place. Yeah, I couldn't tell you any restaurants now that have outdoor playgrounds anymore. We have ball pits and slides and ow. See, my arms hurt and my knees hurt already. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to see these apartments butted up here because this used to be nothing back here. And then this little building to my right, it was a comic book shop for a long time, or comic books and baseball cards. And then I think kids just stopped doing comic books and baseball cards. I actually thought this building was gone. But then, speaking of gone, this is where there was some kind of discount furniture building here. But before it was discount furniture, it was actually a bowling alley. And I'm gonna have to look this up when I get home, but yeah, it would have been right here to my right where the drive-thru is. But yeah, an actual bowling alley. And you could kind of tell when you went in the furniture place, well after the bowling alley was gone, you could still pick things out and tell what it used to be. And what was here? Sheets is huge. Everything out here just took over this entire chunk of land. And I honestly can't remember anything that was out here. I remember a parking lot, and a lot of times there'd be vendors out here with like either a farmer's market or flags or flowers or something. But yeah, I honestly can't remember what would have been like right where I'm riding. Same thing with over here. Like this feels like this was just all, this feels like this was just all field, but I guess some people would know better than me. And then this, the other day I was going to ride and use this shortcut here. It turns out it's not a shortcut. Like when they were building the new football, I forget the name of the school, but building a new football field and track and everything, you used to be able to walk walk or ride through there to get to Columbus Street. Let's see. I think that's it. I'm trying to remember if there was anything across the street. I do know that directly in front of me right now, I do know that that medical building directly in front of me right now, like it was always medical, but they flattened a lot of it and then build up new. But yeah, mall is always kind of changing, coming and going with stuff, so that's not really that interesting to go down there because the buildings have always been the same. But alright, that's about it. I'm going to pull in here, turn off the camera and the recording, and see if I'm able to glom this all together later in a way that's not embarrassing.